So, you want to start an LLC in Maryland but don't know where to begin? I've got you covered. In this video, I'll show you how to navigate the process step by step, and guess what? It can be done in just a few minutes. Plus, I'll share some helpful tips to help you avoid common mistakes and unnecessary fees. I'll also reveal a simple solution that can save you time and stress. So by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to avoid these common pitfalls and set up your LLC the right way. Starting an LLC in Maryland can be a real headache. Trust me, I've been there. The paperwork is complex, the legal jargon is confusing, and the whole process can eat up your time. You've got to deal with choosing a unique name, appointing a registered agent, and filing those tricky paperwork. It's enough to make your head spin. But what if I told you there is a way to avoid all this hassle? Stay tuned because I'm about to show you how you can set up your LLC in Maryland without the headache. You'll be amazed at how simple it can be when you know the right tricks. So let's get started. The first step to LLC success, choosing a name. All right, let's dive into the first step of creating your LLC in Maryland, choosing a name. This might seem simple, but it's actually super important, and there are some rules you need to follow. First off, your LLC name needs to include a limited liability company or LLC at the end. Now, this isn't just a suggestion, it's required by Maryland law. So if you're thinking naming your business Bob's Burgers, it would need to be Bob's Burgers LLC or Bob's Burgers Limited Liability Company. Now, here's where it gets a little bit tricky. Your name can't be too similar to any existing business names in Maryland. You don't want customers confusing your awesome new LLC with someone else's, right? To check if your dream name is available, you can use the Maryland Business Entity Search tool. It's free and easy to use. But wait, there is more. Maryland has some other rules about LLC names. You can't use words that might make people think you're a government agency. And if you want to use certain words like bank or lawyer, you might need extra paperwork or licenses. So think carefully about your name choice. Now, here's a pro tip. If you found the perfect name but aren't quite ready to register your LLC right away, you can actually reserve your name for 30 days. It'll cost you just $25, but it could be worth it to secure that perfect name. Now, let me share with you a quick story. When I was first starting my LLC, I thought I had the perfect name. I was all set to register Tech Wizards LLC. But when I checked, there was already Tech Wizards Incorporated in Maryland. I had to go back to the drawing board, learn from my mistakes, and always check first. Now, choosing your LLC name isn't just about following rules though. It's also about picking something that represents your business well. You want a name that's catchy, easy to remember, and gives people an idea of what you do. Think about your target customers and what would appeal to them. Another thing to consider is your online presence. In today's digital world, you'll want a name that's available as a website domain and on social media platforms. It's a good idea to check domain availability and social media handles before finalizing your LLC name. Remember, your LLC name is often the first thing potential customers will see or hear about your business. It's your first impression, your brand, your identity in the business world. So take your time with this step. Brainstorm ideas, get feedback from friends or family, and make sure you are happy with your choice before moving forward. Your LLC guardian, resident agents. All right, let's talk about your LLC's best friend, the resident agent. You might be wondering, what's a resident agent and why do I need one? Well, I'm about to show you why this role is crucial for your Maryland LLC. In Maryland, every LLC needs a resident agent. It's not just a fancy title, it's a legal requirement. But what exactly does a resident agent do? Think of them as your business's official point of contact. They're the ones who receive important legal documents and official mail on behalf of your LLC. Now, you might be thinking, can't it just be my own resident agent? Technically, yes, you can. But let me tell you why that might not be the best idea. First off, a resident agent needs to be available during regular business hours. That means if you're out meeting clients or running errands, you could miss important documents. And trust me, you don't want to miss a court summons or tax notice. Plus, if you're using your home address as your business address, do you really want legal documents showing up at your doorstep? Probably not. That's where a professional resident agent service comes in handy. These services provide a physical address in Maryland where all your official mail goes. They'll receive your documents, scan them, and then send them to you right away. No more worrying about missing important stuff or having your personal address out there for everyone to see. But here's the real kicker: privacy and professionalism. Using a resident agent service keeps your personal information off public records. It's basically like having a shield for your privacy, and it looks way more professional to have a business address instead of your home address on official documents. And another big benefit? Peace of mind. A good resident agent service will keep track of important filing deadlines and remind you when it's time to submit annual reports. They've got your back, making sure you stay compliant with state regulations. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. This sounds great, but isn't it expensive? Now, here's the thing. Many LLC formation services include a year of free resident agent service when you form your LLC with them. It's like getting a 2-for-1 deal. You get your LLC set up and a professional resident agent, all in one go. The tricky paperwork: operating agreements, articles of organization, and getting an EIN. All right, now let's dive into the real meat of forming your LLC in Maryland. We're talking about the operating agreement, articles of organization, and getting your EIN. These might sound like a mouthful, but I promise by the end of this section, you will see how straightforward they can be. Let's start with the operating agreement. This is basically like the rule book for your LLC. It outlines how your business will run, who is in charge of what, and how decisions will be made. Now, here's something interesting. Maryland doesn't actually require you to have an operating agreement. But trust me, you'll want one. Why? Well, imagine you're playing a game without any rules. It might be fun for a while, but eventually things are going to get messy. Your operating agreement is like the rule book that keeps everyone on the same page. It covers things like how profits and losses are shared, what happens if someone wants to leave the company, and how you will handle disagreements. Here's a quick story for you. I had a client who thought they didn't need an operating agreement because they were starting the business with their best friend. Fast forward a year, and they were in huge argument about how to split the profits. If they would have had an operating agreement from the start, this whole mess could have been avoided. Now, let's talk about the articles of organization. This is the document that officially creates your LLC in the eyes of the state. It's like your LLC's birth certificate. In Maryland, you'll need to file this with the State Department of Assessments and Taxation. Now, you might be wondering, what goes into the articles of organization? Well, it's pretty straightforward. You'll need to include your LLC's name, address, the name and address of your resident agent, and a few other basic details. The filing fee in Maryland is $100, which is pretty standard compared to other states. And here's a pro tip. Make sure everything in your articles of organization matches exactly with what you've decided for your LLC. Even small discrepancies can cause delays or rejections. And nobody wants to deal with more paperwork than necessary, right? And once you file your articles of organization, you're officially an LLC in Maryland. Congratulations. But we're not quite done yet. The next step is getting your EIN, or Employer Identification Number. Think of this as your LLC's social security number. You'll need it to open a business bank account, file taxes, and hire employees. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Great, more paperwork. But here's the good news. Getting an EIN is actually super easy and completely free. You can apply online through the IRS website, and in most cases, you'll get your EIN immediately. I remember when I got my first EIN, I was all prepared for a long, complicated process. But I'm not kidding you, it took me literally like 15 minutes. It was so quick and easy. I actually double-checked to make sure I hadn't missed anything. Now, here's something important to remember. Even if you're the only member of your LLC, you will still need an EIN if you plan to hire employees, or if you choose to have your LLC taxed as a corporation instead of a sole proprietorship. So, I know we've covered a lot of ground here, and it might seem like a lot to handle, but here's the thing. each of these steps is crucial in setting up your LLC for success. They're like the foundation of a house. Get them right, and everything else becomes so much easier. The last few steps to your LLC success. All right, you've set up your LLC, but we're not quite done yet. There are a few more steps to turn your business dream into reality. First up, licenses and permits. Maryland requires different licenses depending on your industry. For example, if you're opening a restaurant, you'll need a food service license. If you're starting a construction company, you'll need a contractor's license. The state has a handy online portal where you can search for the specific licenses you need. Trust me, you don't want to skip this step. Operating without proper licenses can lead to hefty fines. Now, let's talk about the annual report. In Maryland, you need to file this every year by April 15th. It's pretty straightforward. You're basically confirming or updating your LLC's information. The filing fee is $300, so make sure to budget for it. Set a reminder on your phone or calendar so you don't forget. Your LLC, from dream to reality. All right, let's wrap this up and get you started on your LLC journey. And you know what? You don't have to do this all alone. With professional services, you can skip the headaches and get your business up and running in no time. Remember, every successful business started with a single step. It's time you take yours. Don't let complicated paperwork hold you back from your entrepreneurial dreams. You've got a business to run, customers to serve, and money to make. Why waste time on confusing legal forms when experts can handle them for you? Here is my recommendation. Check out Northwest Registered Agents. They're offering an exclusive deal for you guys. For just $39 to set up your LLC. That's a steal for a peace of mind and professional support. Click the link in the description of this video to get started. Trust me, future you will thank you for making this smart move. Let's turn your business dream into reality. Good luck with your LLC, and thank you for watching this video.